Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. All right. What's going on, y'all? What is going on? Welcome to the live stream. Kind of don't really know what kind of mallet to get for this. See, I like that. I like how you can here, let's adjust this so you guys can see what we got going on here. Hold on. Move this stuff out of the way here. Tap the like button, everybody. Subscribe to the channel. So this is a crown. So this is for the crown chakra. It's tuned for the crown chakra. Let's see if we can get this positioned in a different way. If I move it back further, there we go. That's a lot better, actually. That is a lot better. Hold on, I want to bring up the live stream because we're going to talk a little bit about faith. And I want to ask you all in the comments to comment below what is faith to you? You know, because it's very interesting, different people's perspectives on faith, you know, and how and what your truth is regarding faith. And there is, you know, we get a lot of people that come in here and have strong faith and nothing can waver them. And then we have people that come in that don't even know what faith is. And it's understandable because of what has happened. It's almost as if that aspect of us has been erased. The remembrance of, you know, because it's like it's so easy to get distracted with all the temptations in the world to just forget about faith and God, and we put all our eggs in the basket of this person could help me and fix it. This doctor, this person in a white coat, this, you know, practitioner, this whatever. And it's like we just toss faith aside. Not everybody. I'm not going to sit here and say everybody does, because it's not everybody. There is a lot of people that come on this live stream and that I've met along the way that have a strong ass faith. Tristina Shea, what's good, man? Welcome to the live stream. How you doing, man? Let me just ask you a question, like, what does faith mean to you? Does it mean religion? Does it mean you trust and you believe in what's happening and what's unfolding? Like, what is faith mean to you, Tristina Shea 4062? And please, when you come in, man, tap that like button, the thumbs up. It really helps the algorithm. It really helps for more people to find the channel and the videos and the live streams. So please do that if you feel called to and you are vibing with the channel and myself and Luna. I would greatly appreciate it. Well, what does faith mean to you, man? And I'm gonna see if I can see. It's kind of weird, man. There's no poll thing anymore. I mean, I don't even see it on the phone either. I don't think. Pin a lot. No, see, it's like they took the poll thing away. Huh. Or maybe I only can. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe I have to switch back to this one. Oh yeah, maybe now I can do it. Here we go. Create a poll. Let's see how many people vote on this. Make it 1 hour. I will host a workshop and mini healing around faith. All right, let's see what we got here, y'all. We got the super chat goal up. We've got a poll listed. Let's see what's up. And I've got a new singing bowl coming. They still don't even have a tracking number. It's expected though, because they said it would take about 10 to 15 days. So this thing is definitely being made with love, a lot of love. So can't wait till I'm able to unveil it with you guys. But this one I love. You can't get singing bowls this way anymore, made this way. I'll tell you that much. But I'll tell you what faith is to me. And I'll tell you this, that I never had faith the majority of my life, just because of what I grew up experiencing in the world. And a lot of us did, growing up in the pre-internet days, you know, and just growing up in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s. It was especially with what I experienced with my family, my parents, my grandparents, and just a lot of. Now, mind you, I was raised religious to a certain extent, and at the same time, I wasn't, because just going to a establishment and praying, what you would call praying, is not really teaching core, like the core things you need to know about faith, you know. Not to mention, as I've spoken numerous times on this channel, that my abilities and gifts were suppressed. Um, when I did hear voices, when I did communicate with the unseen world, I was taught that it wasn't real. So then I don't know at what point, because I most definitely woke up at 7 years old. And when and how and at what point I lost my faith, I think it was losing my grandparents at a young age, experiencing them going through really horrific health challenges, um, experiencing my father at a young age having fourth stage cancer and almost dying. All of those things, I began to lose faith more and more. And when I say faith, faith in like some higher power, that what we would call the creator that created all of this. Then being bullied and treated the way I was treated growing up as a young individual, young man. You know, I was very much lost and couldn't find my way. And as I grew up, I continued to grow farther and farther away from God, from faith, from having faith. I became what you would call an atheist. I became someone that was anti-government, anti-God, anti-everything pretty much. In my early 20s and younger, I just wanted everyone to just go at once. I felt like it would be easier that way. I mean, I think a lot of us have had a path of struggle where we've wavered between believing there's a God and then not believing there's a God, due to all of the things that we've experienced and seen in the world. And then we've been programmed and conditioned to believe that if you believe in God, that you are religious, that you can't have a relationship with God unless you're in some sort of religion. Not to mention, as I said, all the things that we've all experienced. And most of us have had extremely challenging upbringings. And the thing of it is when it comes to faith and when it comes to walking the path of God, or walking with faith, trusting that you're being led and guided every single step of the way, it most certainly and most definitely requires so much trust, because you don't know. First of all, God's timing is not our timing. Faith's timing is not our timing. And so when we ask for something or we pray for something, it doesn't necessarily mean that that's going to happen on our time or instantaneously, like we have been conditioned and programmed to believe everything should be instantaneous. And the reason that has happened is due to, well, we could just order a pizza and it arrives in our door in 20 minutes. We could go to the store and we could think of something and then go and purchase it and immediately have it if we have the funds to do so. We can pop a pill and the pain can go away potentially. We can drink some alcohol and numb the pain, and these different things that, again, don't get to the root cause. They're all just either suppressing or numbing or avoiding in some way, shape, or form. Versus, we've forgotten that, man, if we had faith, if we really truly trusted, and we've heard of people having miracles, what you would call a miracle, healing, or a miracle situation where this big landfall comes, like somehow, some way, and we've all heard things like that, or we may personally know somebody that had an experience like that. But again, it goes back to, you ask and then you surrender and you trust that it will happen for your highest and greatest good. And that's the disconnection part that humanity struggles with, that we as a human race struggle with, because we ask and then we don't surrender to letting go and trusting that it's going to happen or it's going to unfold perfectly. We ask, we pray, we beg, and then we continue to. We don't like just throw up our hands and trust. That and maybe it's something like you struggling to pay your rent and it doesn't come right away because you prayed, and now what are you going to do? Like, again, that's not God's time. That's not on God's time. That's on your time when you expect it. But what if that you not having it is leading you to something else? What if you not having it and then the landlord kicks you out and then you're going to another place and then something else falls into place, or you end up staying at a hotel or, a friend's house, and then you get led to something else? If you fully trust and you fully put every single thing you have into that faith, that every single thing that is happening is leading you to something bigger and better than you could have even conceptualized with your mind. I'm not telling anyone to do that in any situation, but that's faith. Like, I've gotten visions so many times, and I'll say this again because this is what they've shown me, and this is what I've had to trust with. They've shown me a bridge, and what I mean by they, my higher self, my guides, God, my spirit team, which we all have. So they've showed me a bridge, and I essentially was blindfolded, and it was really like kind of, there was not much visibility where I could see across the bridge or even see that the bridge connected to the other side. It was very foggy. It was dense, thick fog. And it was almost as if I was blindfolded as I was walking across it. And they just kept showing me this same image, the same visualization of me blindfolded and or walking across the bridge, trusting that even though I can't see 2 feet in front of me, even though I can't see 1 foot going in front of the other, even though I don't know if the planks continue from one end to the other, because for all I know is the bridge could be busted in the center or missing planks, right? But I don't know that. And it's like me having faith and asking God to lead me and guide me every step of the way. and then surrendering and trusting that that will happen, and that God and my guides and my angels and my spirit team and my higher self are leading me and guiding me every single step of the way. See, the difference that I've always taught from was my higher self. I never led from, well, this is God leading me, or this healing is going to, be taken care of instantaneously, or whatever I expected it to be. What do we do if our doctor prescribes us pain meds for my heart and back? I do have a lot of faith. Well, see, I'm not a doctor and I don't want to tell you what to do. Of course, I would never do that. And I mean, we can't do that on YouTube. They probably would take my channel down, the channel down with me and Luna if I did do that. The fact of the matter is, it doesn't mean that you're not told to take pain meds or to do some certain thing, because not every single thing God will completely just take it from you. Sometimes you'll be tested in a way that, are you listening? A good example I just had, which I spoke about on here a few times with parasites. And I told you guys I had acid reflux, and it was acid like shooting up in my throat, and it was going on for quite a long time. And I had to like really, really listen and pay close attention to what I'm being guided to do. And that meant fasting. There was at points I was guided to fast for days. I would eat something and then it would happen and I wouldn't know what food did it, because it would happen during the day, and then I was guided to like eat earlier and earlier. And then when I didn't and I ate later, it would happen again, but it would happen in the like 10, 11 o'clock at night when I'm sleeping. I'd be woken up with acid shooting in my throat, right? Which people would call heartburn or acid reflux or whatever you want to call it, whatever you identify it with. It doesn't really matter. And recently, so this has gone on for quite a while. I can't even tell you, probably close to a year. But the more I changed different things and I listened, it stopped, it got less. And then recently, I was reminded from my guides and my angels and my and spirit and my higher self and God, whoever you want to believe was speaking to you. And I kept hearing the words parasites. And this was something that I forgotten that had happened a couple years ago. And it was the same exact thing. I went to this kinesiologist in Florida that was doing muscle testing and had told me that it's parasites. And I had forgotten about that. And then I had read a bunch of messages were coming to me. People were posting things that they were having the same exact thing. And then more and more like of these message boards with different ailments were showing up saying, well, this is a list of things that could be potentially possible if you have parasites. And then recently, after I already was doing a parasite cleanse, I had spoken with somebody, and they said, yeah, it's a good idea to do parasite cleanse before and after a full moon, and that's when they're most active, which I was aware of. And just there was different things, and then all of a sudden God was speaking to me, and I got out of bed and I heard the words very loudly, parasites, parasites. It kept being repeated to me over and over again. As I got up out of bed and walked into the bathroom to go to the bathroom, I woke up and I kept hearing the words parasites over and over and over again. And mind you, I was already doing a parasite cleanse and a cleanse in general. And so now it's going on almost a little over a month where I've been doing a cleanse, and it has not happened once. Not once. Not at all. And I mean completely gone. And you see, not always is God going to take it from you. There may be things that you have to listen to the signs and the messages. You may have to take medication. You may have to take things to cleanse. You may have to do things for a period of time because God wants to test your faith. How strong is your faith? How strong do you believe in Him and the power of Him? You know, and what if He just said, yeah, I'll just take this away from you? Are you really learning from it? Are you really going to, maybe then He'll take it from you and then you'll go back to your old ways and you'll forget about Him again, right? But in Him having you listen and do certain things that He guides you to do, and sometimes you may not understand why you're being guided to do certain things. It may not even make any sense. It may not even have anything to do with what you're doing, what you're experiencing, and you're just being guided to do it because He's testing your faith. How strong is it? Because the moment that He takes it away, then you go back to the temptations and distractions of the world, and you forget about Him. And it happens all the time. There's so much distraction in this world that we're living in. And this is the most challenging time, I think, by far, that humanity has ever experienced. I think even dating back thousands of years, because of the technology, because of all of the things that the deletion of God in our mind, in our consciousness. It's so easy. Like, why do you think people say all the time, like, oh yeah, people go to church and then on Sunday and then they go back to their old ways on Monday? You know, like, people show up in church and they're this loving, amazing person, and then they leave on Monday and they're yelling and screaming and cursing someone out on the road for cutting them off, right? I mean, all of us have heard that before, you know? And it's not only church, it's any, you know, we go and then we leave and then we go back. We revert back. But it's like, is it supposed to be this way? No. Is it going to continue to be this way eventually? No. I do truly believe that we're being prepared to be superhuman and to have that connection no matter what. Where no matter what happens in the world, and this goes thousands of years from now, you know, no matter what's going on in the world, that connection to source, that connection to God will never disconnect, will never sever. But make no mistake about it, God could eradicate anything. And does that mean He's going to? Does that mean because you asked, it's supposed to happen instantaneously? Like I said, sometimes you could be experiencing, like, Southern girl is experiencing heart and back stuff. You know, it could go on for years. Because that's not God's time. That's our time. And God may want you to go through certain things. God knows, our higher self knows, is like 1,000 steps ahead of us in the decisions we're about to choose and the decisions we're about to make. So, with that being said, it doesn't matter how long. You got to surrender and let go of that. How long is this going to take? Why is this taking so long? All of those things are not trusting and having faith in the creator, in prime creator source. And again, it doesn't have anything to do with religion. Faith has nothing to do with religion. You don't have to be religious to have faith. You don't have to be religious to believe in God. You don't have to be religious to believe in Jesus or any of these figures. But the one thing that God doesn't want us to do, nor our higher self, nor any of these beings, is giving our power to them, even to God. He doesn't want you to do that because you're just as powerful. And again, you are God and God is you. I know a lot of people have difficulty wrapping their head around that. I don't know what you mean. Same species reach the moon. No, I lost my train of thought. Excuse me. Hold on a second. Oh, yeah. So it's like God does not want you to give your power away. You are God. God is you. I am you. You are me. You know, at the end of the day, we broke off to experience and have an experience, right? Religious BS, but with another definition. I'm not sure what you mean. Are you saying that as to what I'm saying, or because I'm not? It's very different. Again, we've been definitely programmed and conditioned in a lot of different ways. I don't know. I kind of think the word religious is stupid anyways in general. There's no point to it other than to divide and separate people, really, at the end of the day. And not only to divide and separate you from me and me from you, but from the creator, from God, from source. And man, we are going to be crunched and like squeezed as we go forward to connect back to source, to have faith, to trust. Because the more and more we go forward, the more and more the things that we experience are going to require faith, require trusting in the unknown. And you're not going to be able to do it alone. You're not going to be able to reach out to someone in a white coat. You're not going to be able to reach out to a friend. You're going to have to go within, which is where God resides. And you are going to be required to find faith and to strengthen your faith. And so it's like so vital and so important that we do that already, that we're doing that now, that we're preparing ourselves, you know. And it's wild, man. It is wild how difficult people have with letting go of control, because the ego wants to control everything. The ego wants to understand and know it all. Let me understand what's next, how it's going to play out, what I'm going to receive, how much I'm going to have. Like, the ego wants to know it all. And if you don't have like that comfortability of knowing, oh, well, I got this money in my bank account, I got this job, like the security, okay? Well, why do you think we're being put in so many situations and experiences, all of us, every single one of us, whether it be an illness, whether it be losing a job, losing family members, having to navigate a relationship from across the world? I mean, the list goes on and on. Every single thing is requiring so much faith and trust in, like, it goes so beyond what it used to be. um, it's mind blowing how much we're being stretched to trust like everything. The war is going on. I mean, I can go on and on and on. People losing their houses, people losing their relationships, their jobs, their family, their friends, people that they've been around their entire life. Like I can go on and on and on. What you would call like the crutches, so that we can lean on God, so that we can surrender to not knowing and be able to walk across that bridge knowing that we're going to make it on the other side in what's the word, in perfect, like we're not going to have a bruise on us. We're going to make it across to the other side perfectly, right? And that's what I've been shown the last few years. And let me tell you what, man, I've had to trust, I've had to surrender, I've had to continuously over and over and over again with things physically. If I went down the list of the physical things that I've experienced, a lot of people would have ran to a person in a white coat, and I didn't. I trusted in God. I trusted that it was happening for a reason. And if I was guided to go, I would have gone. And I know that it was requiring me to have faith. It was requiring me to trust. And this is what is going to continue to happen for years to come. And it's going to get harder and harder, more difficult and more challenging to trust the unknown, which is not what the ego likes. And the ego doesn't like change, and the ego doesn't like not knowing, not having a roadmap, not having a plan. And it's funny, man, because I think back to like the last few years, I think back to even longer than that. And I always said I need a roadmap. I need to know what's going on. Like, why am I not getting the information from my guides? Why am I not getting more insights, more downloads, clear picture, clearer understanding? And I still don't fully have that. As connected and tapped in as I am, I still don't have that, because it's requiring me to trust and have faith. And every single thing that I do is showing God, is showing my higher self, is showing Source that, oh, he is listening. Oh, he does have faith. His faith is strengthening, is becoming stronger. He is listening to the guidance. And I kid you not, as I was going through this stuff with the acid reflux and the acid shooting up in my throat, it was not pleasant. Believe me when I tell you. And if anybody has experienced it, I would not wish it on anybody. It is far from pleasant. And funny thing is, I could not remember that I remembered that it happened to me before, but I completely forgot that at the time when it was happening, I had parasites, and I completely forgot about that. And right away I went to, let me try this food. No, this food is causing it. No, it was all surface level. It wasn't actually getting to the root cause. And then I was hearing about people having it and them going to the doctor, and the doctor giving them medication. I'm like, hell no, I'm not doing that. I don't feel guided to take medication. That's just not my path. I kept asking, and I kept trusting, and I kept surrendering, and I kept strengthening my faith. I listened, and I fasted, and I ate this food, and this food seemed to make it happen more easily than other foods. I ate earlier, my last meal. I was changing whatever I needed to change, whatever I was guided to do, I listened. Whereas a lot of people choose not to do that and choose to continue to do the same thing because they are not willing to, be obedient. They're not willing to listen. They're not willing to stop whatever they're doing and try something else. They want to just continue because they like it, even though it still continues to do whatever it's doing, whatever situation they're experiencing from it. And for me, I'm very different. And to me, I'll change whatever I have to change. Whatever I'm told to do, or even if I'm not told, and it's impacting my daily life, I will make that change necessary, no matter what. And my higher self and God knows that. No food, no nothing will stop me from finding peace within myself. And that was not peace. That was complete and utter suffering. To wake up in the middle of the night at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, and jump out of bed with acid shooting at your throat, and then sitting there for 10 to 15 minutes or more, coughing up pieces of food. And I know it's a lot of TMI, but sometimes you got to hear it. And it's no matter what I did, I tried all kinds of different things. And I kid you not, over a month now, I've been cleansing parasites, and it has not happened once. No matter if I eat later or I eat earlier, it has not happened. Now, mind you, I could have not listened, and I could have continued doing what I was doing, but see, I was obedient, and I listened, and I surrendered, and I trusted, and I had faith. And I didn't know how long it was going to take. Like I said, it was going on for a very long time. Shit, close to a year probably. And I'm like, man, I've tried all these different things. I don't understand. What do I need to do? And I kept asking God. I kept speaking to God. I kept praying. I kept asking for help, which is another thing that humans think is weak, to ask for help. And it's not. And you don't always ask unless you're guided to people out in the outer world. We tend to go and ask our family, friends, our partner, everybody else, but going to God, going to our guides, going to our higher self for help. And are you in fact truly surrendering? Are you listening, completely listening? And when I say listening, I said this before and I'll say it again, about cultivating a daily practice with your higher self, with God, with your spirit team. Waking up in the wee hours of the morning. A lot of people will complain about that. A lot of people will say, I'm not getting up early. I'm not, I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I'm not doing that. And they refuse to be obedient, and they refuse to do it, and they refuse to listen. And then they wonder why things aren't changing, why their situation is no different than it was before. Because they're not willing to make the changes. They're not willing to sacrifice. They're not willing to surrender. They're not willing to trust the process, to trust what's unfolding, to trust that you're being led and guided every single step of the way. It requires deep surrender. It requires listening, stillness. Bless you too, Mehana Kodesh. Where's everybody from? Type it in the chat. And And also comment below, man, if you like what the poll says, if you have faith and what faith means to you. But I say this because we're at a point, we're at a very pivotal point. Toronto, okay, Toronto in the house. Well, welcome, Toronto. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and tap the like button. I would really greatly appreciate it. But subscribe to the channel, man. We're on the road to 5,000 subscribers. So I would greatly appreciate anyone's support and help, and to help get these videos out, these live streams out to more people, man, that need it. Because trust and believe, people need this guidance. People need guidance in general. You know, there's so many temptations in the world. There's so many distractions, and people don't have these simple teachings readily available to them. Everyone is trying to sell a course, sell this, sell that, do this. You know, this is what's going to help you. This is what's going to save you. Like, instead of, you know, go straight to God. Go to your guides. Go to your higher self. Stillness. Take the time. Like, cultivate a practice, a healthy practice every single day, man. Take time out to show God, to show your higher self, to show your guides, to show your spirit team that you are ready, that you want change in your life, that you need guidance and help. But if you just don't ever communicate with them, you don't ever cultivate a practice, you don't ever, and I don't just mean going to like some religious establishment once a week. That's still not even cultivating a practice, a daily practice. Yes, it's a start in the right direction, but it's not cultivating a daily practice by any means. What I mean is every single day, is daily. Stillness. Finding 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour, whatever you can do. It's the same goes for what you would do with a relationship that you're beginning to cultivate, whether it be a romantic one, whether it be a friendship, a family member. It doesn't matter, because you're going to do it with a physical human. You can't just not do anything and expect to develop a relationship, right? So it's the same thing with God. It's the same thing with your guides. The same thing with your higher self. It's no different. Just because you can't see them physically and hold their hand, which you are holding their hand energetically, but just because you can't physically, scientifically hold their hand doesn't mean that you're not cultivating a friendship, a relationship with them. It goes the same way. It's no different. That's how your guidance becomes clearer. That's how you begin to hear the messages more loudly. That's how you begin to feel the energy of God. That's how God begins to heal through you. To see, because here's the thing, man. Breath is God. Breath is God. Right? And most people on this planet aren't breathing. Most people on this planet are holding their breath. Right? They're not actually breathing. And there's nothing that feels more amazing than the breath moving in and out versus you just holding your breath. It doesn't feel good when you do that, unless you're doing it with intention, because there is breath hold practices. I'm breathing with an intention, but like you took your first breath when you came into this world, and you'll take your last breath when you leave. So what does that mean? There's nothing that feels more amazing than when I take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And when I'm consciously doing it. And I see so many people, man, struggling out there with, and I'm not going to say I'm perfect, man, by any means. You know, there's days that I wake up and I have a challenging time and I'm struggling. And I'm struggling to connect with God, with my guides, with my angels, and my higher self. I'm not going to sit here and say my connection is perfect and that no matter what, nothing can waver it. I am not going to sit here and say that, and some days I don't feel it at all. But I can tell you this, that I am making damn sure, because I've seen what God can do. I've seen what my guides can do. I've seen what my angels can do. I've seen what they all can do. And they have a bigger and wider vantage point than I do. And I can tell you that I've been shown and told numerous times that this is so important as we go forward. It is so important as we go forward that we cultivate a daily practice, that we teach, if you have kids, to cultivate a daily practice. I don't know where and when we lost the faith that we have lost. It's crazy to me. And I say that because it's crazy to me too, because I lost it just as well as everybody else did. As I said, I sit here and I'm no different than anybody else. I went down the path of not having any faith, not trusting in the unknown, suppressing all my gifts and abilities, doing drugs and alcohol and getting hammered and smashed all the time and faded and you name it. Chasing women, objectifying women, pornography. I mean, I did it all. I am not going to sit here and say that I am any better or different than anybody else on this planet. I fell into temptation left and right at every corner. And even up to this point, sometimes it's challenging to tell whether or not, you know, I feel like doing this or I'm not going to do this, using discernment in some way, shape, or form. I will not sit here ever and say that I'm any different or better than anyone else on this planet. But I will say I'm trying and I'm making effort, and I know that that it's better to have that connection than it is not to. I've experienced both sides of the fence, both sides of the coin. I've experienced not having it at all, and I've experienced having it. And which would I choose? Having that connection, having faith. Because I've seen giving all your faith into a doctor or giving all your faith into a friend or a family member or someone else other than yourself and God, where it gets you. When the challenging times come, the only one that will be there is God. Your guides, your angels, your team. Sometimes, yeah. I mean, my dad was there. Luna was there. You know, But were they actually there? No, because I was the one that had to walk in my own shoes. I was the one that had to change my thoughts. I was the one that had to call in God. I was the one that had to do all of these things. Yeah, they could maybe talk you off a ledge. Yeah, they could maybe, speak, like preach to you with some positivity. But in the end, man, you were the one suffering. You were the one going through it. And they would not understand any of it because they've never experienced what you are or were experiencing. And I remember saying it so many times to my father that he just didn't understand, but yet he did, because he went through a life-threatening, if you want to call it life-threatening, but he had fourth stage Hodgkin's lymphoma where a doctor gave him a week to live. That wasn't God giving him a week to live. That wasn't his higher self. That was an individual in a white coat telling him you have a week to live. It was up to him to choose to listen or not. It was up to him to change or not change. You know? And I always say, how badly do you want it? How badly do you want to lose that weight? How badly do you want to have a better life? How badly, like, it's all up to us to make the changes we need to make. And there is a lot of people that are not willing to make the changes that they need to make. But at the end of the day, man, it's like asking for help, asking for guidance, speaking to God, and then trusting and surrendering and throwing up your hands and being like, okay, I'm going to listen. Even if I don't understand, even if I don't, none of this makes sense. Even if it has nothing to do with what I'm asking for help with, I'm going to trust. I'm going to throw up my hands. I'm going to have faith that I'm being led and guided every single step of the way, even though I don't know the timeline for it, even though I don't understand when it's going to happen in the way that I think it's going to happen. It's on divine timing. See, me personally, I always lived trying to get from the beginning of the book to the end without, with in fact, skipping everything in the center. And I mean, going into the Akashic Records, and just in general, channeling different beings and everything else, they all showed me and told me that I always wanted to just get from the beginning to the end, not enjoying the process, not knowing that this is about the journey. It's about the experiences that you have along the way. That's the purpose of the life, of this life. The journey, the people you meet, the interactions you have, the experiences. Not, oh, I want to get to this place, or when I get to this place, or when I get to being a multimillionaire, or when I get this job, or when I get healthy, or it's always trying to get somewhere instead of the present moment, instead of being right here, right now. Presley, what's good, brother? Donald, what's good, my friend? And I understand it. And of course, It makes sense because we've been programmed and conditioned to like be in the future and be in the past all the time. Because God exists in the present moment. Peace exists in the present moment. It doesn't exist in the future. It doesn't exist in the past. Those don't even exist. You haven't even fully created them yet. The only thing is right here, right now. Me speaking on this live with you all. Ringing this sound bowl. I'm doing fantastic, Brother Donald. I hope you're doing good as well, my friend. And it has taken me a very long time to deprogram myself so that I am right here, right now, in the present moment with you all, because I used to be always in the future and in the past. And it was, I mean, it makes sense because that's the way we've been programmed and conditioned to plan for the future, to save up for the future, to plan for our retirement. What if you don't even make it to your retirement? What if you don't make it to saving all that money up? What if that is not the plan for you? And yet that's all you're concerned and worried about is the future. And instead of watching your kids grow up, instead of spending time with your kids, instead of enjoying them while they're growing up, you're so worried about your retirement. You're so worried. And why is that? Because I tell people all the time to ask themselves this one question. Whatever you're doing, would you do it for free? And I know it's like, it sounds really, I don't know what the word is, but it sounds really cliche, right? But it's like, if you asked yourself, would you do this job that you're doing for free? And most people come out and say no. Hell no, they wouldn't. So what does that tell you? You're just doing it to pass time. You're doing it to just pay bills. You're not doing it because you want to do it. You're not doing it because you enjoy doing it. You're not doing it because it's your passion. You're doing it because you feel like you need to do it and have to do it. So what does that cause you to do? That causes you to be in the future, not the present moment. Because you're so worried about, well, what time is it? When do I get off work? Oh, I can't wait for the weekend. You're always waiting for the weekend. You're always waiting to get off your shift. You're just passing time. You're just like burning time up, which you can never get back. At least not in this lifetime. Not right now. Not until these technologies get released. Again, that is futuristic. That's not present moment. That's where God resides, in the here and now, in the present moment. And if you can't ask yourself, hey, would I do this for free? And your answer is unapologetically and without a shadow of a doubt, yes. Then what are you doing? And why are you doing it? And then it's time to find what you would do for free. And to do that. Because all of these things that we do are just putting us in the future and the past. And we're not present. And we're not experiencing the journey. Again, we're just doing it because we think we have to. We feel like we're supposed to. We have to pay these bills. But Why couldn't you do something that you would do if you had the ability to do it for free? Which of my artwork do you love to get done? I don't know. I don't know what your artwork is. Not sure what your artwork is. Yeah, man. This is one of my favorites, Presley. I'm waiting for a custom one to be delivered. It still has not shipped yet. It takes like 10 to 15 days. They're actually, I guess they're making it. It's like they're using finite crystal, if I remember correctly. And I don't remember which one it is, but I think it's going to be like a green, some kind of green stone, but it's still a quartz crystal. I cannot wait to play it. I can't wait to receive it, for that matter. But again, that's going into the future. That's exactly what I was just talking to you all about. You know, instead of enjoying this drum that I have right here, right now in front of us, right? See, sometimes I do it too. You know, where we're all learning and helping one another and walking each other home. Even as I sit here and preach to you all, you just watch me in real time, right? Waiting for something to come that I'm having custom done instead of enjoying what's already here. Because all that does is put you in the future. And what if I'm not here anymore? What if I'm not here and I don't make it by the time it could be delayed and take months to get here? And what if I'm not even here to enjoy it? Right? So it's like, what is the point? It just continues to put you in this future mindset. You're then programming your brain and your neural pathways to be in the future all the time. And that's not what God intended. That is not the present moment. That is not pure happiness and sovereignty. Pure happiness and sovereignty is right here, right now, in this present moment with you all, having this conversation about this with you all. So I'm happy that you got to experience that in real time, you know, in 4K. Because I do it too, man. As I said, man, I'm living the dream just like you guys are, man, you know. I'm living the dream just like you all, man. And exactly, it happens, man, you know. And what's important is the awareness of it, you know, and then being like, oh yeah, wait a minute, that's future. That's not present. That's not here and now, you know. And the more that we allow ourselves to get pulled into the future or the past, we're not at peace. We're not going to be at peace. We're going to be either experiencing depression or anxiety or stress or definitely not sovereignty, definitely not harmony and balance, because it throws you out of balance every single time you do that. And you're just reprogramming your neural pathways in your brain, and you're programming yourself to be in the future. It doesn't matter, man. The future don't even exist, and it may not exist for you. And we get so wrapped up in, because we were programmed and conditioned to prepare for the future. And it was purposefully done. Make no mistake about it. Why? Because you won't be grounded and centered. You'll be anxious and fearful, you know, and always worried about, am I going to have enough? Am I going to be able to make it till my retirement? Am I blah, 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 blah. You may never make it to that, you know, and accepting that and being okay with that and allowing God to lead and guide you every single step of the way. And let me tell you what, it is not easy. And I will not sit here and say it is. It really takes a lot of trust and faith, especially if you have something physically going on. Because I've been there and I can't count how many times or even tell you how many times I've had health scares and challenges, and I've had to trust. I didn't just go and just call 911 and have an ambulance pick me up and take me. I trusted and believed and had faith, and I may have had to go through difficult things, which I did, just like the acid reflux or whatever you want to call it or identify it as. And as I said, it was something that's been going on for almost a year now. And just recently, since getting the clarity and the messages and the reminder of something that I had years ago, which was the same reason, I was shown, I listened. I listened to the guidance. I listened what to purchase. Again, yes, God could have just taken it right from me, but what good does that do? Because most people, they'll have it taken and then they'll go right back. And they don't listen again. So God wants to test your faith. How strong is it? How much do you believe? At your darkest hour, can you trust? Can you put all your eggs in one basket, which is God? And having faith that it will all unfold perfectly. And if it doesn't, well, you may leave the planet and transition on, which is not the end, because there is no death. There never was and there never will be. You'll just leave this physical body and you'll go on and graduate and go on to something different. You may come back, you may not. Is that the end? No, it never is. Energy never dies. I'm sorry, guys. Bye. Oh, man, God was coming through, man. Let me tell you what, the past hour and 15 minutes, Lord, y'all needed to hear a message today, man. God was speaking through me. So get this. Here's another quick one, and you'll like this, Presley, because this is something new, okay, that we're going to have on the channel. I was guided to do a little research, and lo and behold, I sold one of my cameras that I haven't been using. I had a ZV-1, Sony ZV-1 that I just never was using. It literally, I opened it, never used it. I bought all this equipment with it, just never used it. And so I was getting a bunch of offers on eBay for it. People were lowballing me. I held out because I was guided to. And somebody in Miami purchased it. I shipped it out Monday. They purchased it full price offer. I just knew that that's what I was supposed to do. And I listened. And then the last couple days since shipping it, I think I shipped it on Monday and it's going to get there tomorrow, I think, or Friday to the person. And I was guided to literally buy a, I didn't go crazy or anything like by any means, but I was guided. I found a couple videos and I was guided to get a drone. I'm not into AI and artificial intelligence, but I've never had a drone, but this one is one of the ones where you can, it's not, like I said, it's refurbished. I got it on eBay. It was, very reasonable compared to some of the ones I've seen. But if I was guided to get a more expensive one, fine. I listen to the guidance that I'm given. And sometimes you just never know. It could be a piece of technology. But this technology is going to take this channel to the next level. And this thing is films in 4K. It takes stills and video. I just was guided and told that I'm going to be using it in vlogs. It's going to be able to follow me as I'm maybe even riding a bicycle or walking, or even potentially driving a little bit in a car and getting up a really high up vantage point. Me standing on the top of a mountain. There's going to be a lot of travel and vlogging, and so this is what I was guided to do, like essentially swap one thing out for another, and I was just told that this is going to get a lot more usage on the channel than that camera would have gotten. And so, yeah, get excited, man. We're going to be getting some really... I was watching this video on YouTube. This guy posted about a review about the model that I got. And he was showing like someone standing like on a trail, and it was like big mountains, and he was able to do like this, kind of like this, where, and then a 360 around the mountain like this. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's going to be really fire, man. I mean, I can even get in water and then have it, like go right up to the water. And yeah, it's going to be... Yeah, I'm excited, man. This is going to like take this channel to a whole nother level. And I was already being shown visions in some ways how it's going to help when we're doing retreats. We're going to be able to film the retreats from a higher vantage point. These are things that we're going to be able to do for the channel and for you guys, and to help support humanity as we move forward. Because, as I said, man, things are going to get even more challenging. And I don't say this to scare people. It is never to scare anyone, man. I would rather someone tell me so I can prepare mentally, physically, and spiritually than be surprised and shocked. And I don't see anything wrong with someone telling you, yeah, you need to have more faith. Yeah, you need to like try this, do this. This could help you. Like, what is wrong with that? I would so much rather someone do that than me signing up for a zillion different courses and paying all this money and not getting anything out of it, than someone just simply saying, okay, why don't you just sit in stillness for a little bit, cultivate a practice, breathe, focus on your breath. All these different little things will help you and assist you in deepening your connection internally. Because that is the like courageous human that we're evolving into. Do you want to be someone that relies on everything external, and the moment some rug gets pulled from you, you lose it? Or you're being like pulled and thrown around by your emotions? Like, wouldn't you rather feel solid no matter what's happening in the world? Because I know damn well that's what I've asked for. And I hope to help and assist humanity in learning how to feel more grounded and centered and solid and empowered. That is the whole purpose of this channel. Yeah, we have fun here. Yeah, we laugh. Yeah, we get silly. Yeah, Luna dances, all these different things, because all these different things are supportive in helping us to feel more grounded, centered, and empowered. But at the same time, man, we have to get serious sometimes and look at, why am I doing what I'm doing? Why am I at this place I'm at? Why am I choosing to hang out with these people? Like, why? And actually asking why. And would you do it if you really truly knew? Because most of the time people don't know. And most of the time they are clueless, and and it's understandable with the programming and conditioning that we've had. The deep programming. But man, it's time, dude. Like, we're running out of time. And again, it's not out of fear. I don't say this out of fear. I will never put these thumbnails up that scare you into watching a video that I post or Luna posts. Because I know how that feels, and it sucks. And a lot of people do that crap. And you end up wasting an hour or two watching a video that the thumbnail never even spoke about anything that was in the video. And I honestly don't respect people that do that for likes. Time is really valuable for each and every one of us, and that's all we have. All this other stuff we can't take with us. And the important thing is our time and where we give our energy. And when someone suckers you into like putting a thumbnail up and clickbaiting you to clickbaiting you, and you click it, and then you go there and you waste an hour and a half of your time, and you're like, what the F? This thumbnail, literally the title in this thumbnail they didn't speak about this one time in the whole video. And I just sat here and wasted an hour and a half of my time watching this video for no apparent reason other than wasting it, when I could have been doing something more productive, like sitting in stillness with God. In not a religious way. I always have to reiterate that to everyone, man, because people think that right away, oh, this is like a religious channel and we're coming here because, like, oh, you're talking. No, I'm not talking about religion. I'm talking about sitting in stillness with God. That's all I'm talking about. Forget about these stupid things that people have said over the years. It's religious. You're religious. Who cares if they say that? Because it's not. And who cares what they think? Who cares what anybody thinks, for that matter? About time we start, standing up and standing in our power and really, really getting real, man, because like I said before, and I'll say it again, and I say it over and over again, and as this year progresses, man, things are accelerating and things are moving faster, and we have to, it's like the hammer of God is coming down. And it's funny when you use the word God, I never really used it as much as I've been using it this last year, because of the way I was programmed and conditioned. And yeah, it's religious if you use the word God and you talk about God, it's religious, and Jesus is religious. And no, Jesus never came here to be this religious figure. He came here as God, because if God came down and, said, I'm God and I'm here to like change everything, then first of all, people would believe it. Even you have so many people sitting here saying that God is going to come down and reign on the planet and blah, blah, blah. And Jesus is going to rebirth, whatever the words that people use. To me, personally, I don't think that will ever happen again. But do I believe that he's here? Yes, all the time. And you can call him in any time you want. His energy never dies. Just as you can tap into any guide or angel or God or anything. So, let me tell you what, man. I'm going to say this again, and I'm going to say it as for the people in the back. Shit is going to hit the fan and get crazier. Okay? And you're going to have to really use discernment with all the disclosure that is going to continue to happen and what is real and what isn't. And the fact that AI is taking over a lot of thumbnails and videos, and you can't even tell the difference between what's real and what's not. You really truly have to use discernment and go within. You're not going to be able to ask Joe Schmo down the street. You're not going to be able to ask your doctor or your father or your mother or your sister or your brother. You got to go within and go straight to God. And I'm telling you, mark my words, man, go back and watch this video 6 months from now, when we're getting close to New Year's and the ball's dropping. And I can guarantee you that you will not recognize this planet, yourself or anybody else. If you thought 2020 changed everything, well, 2026 is going to be even bigger. And it's requiring us to go within. And it's requiring us to sit in more and more stillness, to go straight to God for guidance, for assistance, and trusting what is unfolding, knowing that we're being led and guided every step of the way, man. And this is one of the biggest things me and Luna want to teach in the New Earth School. Because it's beyond me that we've gotten to this point that, like majority of humanity is disconnected and doesn't trust, and puts more trust in a doctor in a white coat than they do God, who created everything. Man, today was sometimes, man. See, man, that's the thing, man. I just listen. I listen and I listen, and I just let God use me, man. Use my vessel for good, and then God just speaks through me, man. If you get the opportunity, man, I highly suggest you go back and you watch the video and you replay it, because I can tell you right now, man, there's a lot of codes and activations in this, in the words that I'm speaking, through the vibration and frequency of this message. And it will activate you. And it will, in fact, assist you in remembering. This bowl, there is no bowl like this. Like, look how long it sustains it before I have to tap it again. It is so powerful, man. I haven't found a bowl yet, but I love it. And this is my baby right here. And I'm not attached to it. If something happened to it, of course I'd be okay. I'm always okay, and I will always be okay, just as each and every one of us will, because there is a divine plan, and everything is being divinely guided and divinely orchestrated, perfectly perfect, no matter what. But I urge all of us, man, to sit down and just say, man, is this serving my highest good? Why am I here? Why am I doing this? Why do I continue to do this? Why, when I leave, I'm suffering, And then make different choices. Choose differently. Trust the process and trust what the freak is unfolding, man, because I'm telling you right now, mark my words, it's going to get more challenging and more tough to discern what is real and what's not. And we're going to experience more things that are going to trigger us and set us off. And, and you it's like, the more you can begin to cultivate a practice now, before all of this stuff, this shit hits the fan, you're going to be so much ahead of the game. And you're going to come back here on this channel. You're going to thank me. And I'm just going to say to you, I'm glad that you listened. I'm glad that you made the choice to choose differently in your life so that you could have a better life. Because that's all God wants for you and me and everyone. And no matter what's happening in the world, man, boots on the ground, you will be just fine. It's definitely an interesting time, and it's definitely an amazing time. And God just wants you to find faith again, to trust in Him, to trust in yourself. That's it. Listen, man, I can tell you right now, I used to be one of those people that would just ask. I said to everybody, I said it to my father, I said it to everyone. I said, yeah, someone would tell me something. Or I'd ask, I'd ask a question, like I'm asking Presley a question. And then I'm like, what do you think about this, Presley? And then I would be like, okay, thank you for your answer. But now I have to go ask 3 or 4 other people before I finally make the decision of my own. Right? And I literally did this all the time, and I justified it. I justified going and asking 10 different people before I made my own decision. Instead of going within, asking myself, again, there's nothing wrong with this because we've been programmed and conditioned to do this. So there's nothing wrong with it. We've been programmed and conditioned to do this. But it's the awareness, and it's like choosing differently and saying, you know what? It's just like a doctor giving you a diagnosis, and then you have to go to, like, we're taught to, like, well, you should get a 3rd and a 4th and a 5th and a 6th and a 7th opinion. You know what I'm saying? Like what difference is that going to make versus you going within, having faith? Why do you think it's happening in the first place? So that God can see how strong your faith is. And your belief in the Creator. Right? It's always testing us. To test our faith. To test how strong it is. And then the tests get easier and easier the more you trust and you put your faith in the Creator. And in yourself. But the more that you go and you got to ask a million, then you know what happens? What I found happened to me, I'd ask like 5, 6, 7 people, 8 people, 10 people. I still wouldn't know. And then I'd be even more confused than I was before I even asked anybody. I confused myself even more. And then I just went with whatever. Because I never went to God first. I never went to my higher self first. Never trusted in myself first. I trusted in the internet, doing research on the internet, reading all this crap that other people have experienced, which they're not me, yet they are me at the same time. But their bodies are different, okay? And then I would go on the internet and I'd do research and be like, then freak myself out even more because of the things that people would say about whatever the ailment supposedly is, right? Versus right away just going straight to God. I need help. I'm experiencing this, God. Can you help me? Can you bring the light of God within me? Can you clear and clean out whatever is no longer serving? The junk that's in me, the gook that's in me. Can you clean it out? Can you clear it out? Like whatever made us decide to do all these things externally, and then come to find out the situation becomes way worse than it would have been if we would have just went straight to God in the first place, straight to our higher self in the first place. Again, I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to tell you what to do with your own life, but I can tell you that the more you're doing things that do not serve you, the more you're doing things that are not in alignment, the more you're doing things that you hate doing, that you wouldn't do if you didn't get paid, the more suffering you're going to experience, because you're not in alignment, and you don't trust, and you don't believe. It's like so challenging and difficult for people to step out without having a plan. Like, no, you cannot leave that job until you have another job. But that's not majority of the time what God wants you to do. Majority of the time, God wants you to step out, whether you have one or you don't. Like jumping into the unknown, and trusting that God is going to catch you, right? But we're taught that no, you have to have a job ahead of time. You have to have a plan. God doesn't have a plan for you. You don't even have a plan. So these are all things that we're reprogramming ourselves from what we've been taught, because all of these things are based off fear, and they're not based off love or trust or faith. They're off of fear. They come from fear. Fear that if I don't have this job, I'm not going to how am I going to pay my bills? Fear if I step out and I don't have a place to live, what am I going to do? Like, it's all based off fear. It's not based off of trust, faith, and love. So we're moving in that direction as a collective. But yeah, we're going to go through things. Yeah, we're going to have to go through these things to get to the other side, to get to the light at the end of the tunnel. Of course. But will it be different? Hell yeah. Will it be better? Hell yeah. Do we stay in the present moment here on this channel? Yes. Hell yeah. Everything is about right here, right now on this channel. So you're saying you're the sheriff, Rue Boots? Are you the sheriff of this channel? Presley, we got a sheriff of the channel now. Rue Boots. I think so. Yes, sir. Okay. Very cool. Well, are you subscribed to the channel? Because I've never seen your name on this channel before, so I hope that you tap that subscribe button. The sheriff is in the house. Oh, okay, first time. Well, hopefully first time, and then you're going to be a long time part of the family now. It's a it's a singing bowl. I apologize. I'm looking at your chat over here on the computer. That's why I keep looking away. And it looks like I'm like looking away and then I'm talking as I look away, but the computer is on the left and the chat on the phone is much smaller. What songs does it sing? It sings from a vibration and a frequency, so feel into it. Feel into it. That's the best way I can. You know what I'm going to have to do, man? I'm going to have to put the computer next to the phone so that I'm not looking away when I'm responding to you guys. Because it's like way too tiny, man. The can you do 52 hertz? No, this one is actually, I'll tell you the hertz. It's tuned to the crown chakra, which is the B, which I thought I had the hertz on this, but I don't. I think it's like 432 hertz, if I'm not mistaken. I thought it was written on there, but it's chord B. Just tune into it, man. Feel into what this feels like. You know what I'm saying? Feel into it. It will definitely move and shift energy within you. That I can tell you right now. Probably. I've never tried that actually. I can, but not right now. But I can another time. That would be very interesting if it would give a different sound. Pour milk. I don't have any milk, man. I don't drink milk. But water would be that would be a really cool, neat. I'm going to have to try that. Great idea. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. Yeah, I will. On the next live stream. Remind me, Presley, next time. Tomorrow. That's a really cool idea. This one actually is the glass is smooth. It's not absorbent like the outside of it. It's porous. The inside is like a smooth glass. So yeah, it's just like pouring it inside of a cup. It's not going to absorb it like it would, on the outside of it. The outside of it, it's like got this rough, porous surface. But the inside is very shiny and yeah, so it'd be great idea. I like that. So really, I wonder if it'll change the, the way that it plays or sings. So we by the way, we got 18 votes. Yeah, the frequency, the vibration. Yeah. We got 18 votes on Do You Have Faith? And 72% out of 18 people said that they have faith, yes. But what really does that faith mean is my question. Because I think that it's very skewed. And do I believe that all 18 of those people sit down and cultivate a practice on a daily basis? Probably not. Because again, we've been programmed and conditioned to the faith that people actually really have is not really faith. I don't think all those 18 people just, if God said you need to walk away from everything and trust, do you think all 18 of those people would do that? Probably not. So is that really faith? It's led to be seen. We'd have to ask each and every one of them. 28% of them said no. I'm glad that 18 of them, I'm glad that 72% believe they have faith. But yeah, we wouldn't know unless we spoke with each and every one of them. again, as I said and as I stated numerous times, um, we're not all perfect with it. There's a lot going on down here. There's a lot of distractions and temptations and you name it that pull us away from our connection to God, from having faith. We have people telling us that you can't do that. You're not going to make it if you take the chance and get in your car and live in your van and do the van life. I even watched. Listen, I want to tell you a story, okay? And then I'm going to head out of here. You'd be pretty mad if that's how you went. I don't understand what you mean. Can you explain? So I want to tell you a quick story about this YouTuber that I was following, or that I follow currently. And I don't. Oh, I'm not going to mention their name unless you guys really want me to, because they just reminded me of his name. But he's close to like 100,000 followers, and I really don't care if I do mention his name because I'm not like friends with him or anything, but it's just somebody I've watched. And I do actually really have a lot of respect for them. Squirrel, what's good, brother? Welcome to the live stream. So he's like very, very close. If not, I think he hit 100,000, if I'm not mistaken. So he literally has been posting one video a week, and he bought a truck with a camper on the top of it. And it was like a 30-year-old truck. And I mean, if you literally open up the hood, it looks like brand new. That's how well it was taken care of. Yet it had some issues. Well, he told his community on YouTube and on Instagram as well, and social media, that he was planning a trip to Alaska in the wintertime. And I kid you not, that was the first video that I found him on, the one that he was preparing to go to Alaska. And I think right now, like this coming week will be him taking that 3,000-mile trip. And I cannot tell you how many people in the chat, in the comments, not in the chat, in the comments, said to him, you should not go. And mind you, this kid is in his early 20s. He's been to Alaska before, but not in the wintertime. He's been there in the summer. And they told every single person, said, you're crazy, do not do it, do not take this on with the truck that you have, blah, blah, blah. I could not tell you, he probably had like, I don't know, hundreds of comments below the video telling him not to do it. And you know what? He did not waver. He did not let those comments or let anybody tell him otherwise. He followed. I'm not saying he did it off of faith, but I'm going to tell you this much. He trusts himself that much that no matter what anybody said, he still was taking this trip. Because he knew that that is what he was supposed to do. And a lot of times, people will allow, because they doubt themselves, they doubt even God, they doubt even their faith, they doubt themselves, they don't feel worthy enough, and they could post something and say, I'm doing this, and then their friends and family tell them, no, I don't think that's a good idea, and then they don't trust themselves enough, and they don't trust God enough and their faith enough to where they go with what they believe they should be doing. They do what everybody else tells them they should do. And I'll give him such credit because he did not waver that. And just because all these thousands of people said to him, I think that you should not take this trip on, it's dangerous, blah, 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 he did not listen one bit. And he went with what he believed was true for him, no matter what. And you know how many people in the comments even said as well that they were going to stop following him if he took this trip as well? Yeah. Oh, yeah. I agree with you, Squirrel, 100%. I just say it that way because not a lot of people understand, you know? Um, so I'll say it in that way so so it can be digested more easily. But I can tell you right now, man, that he did not waver. And a lot of people on this planet will let everyone else tell them what they should be doing, where they should be going, what job they should have, what they should go to college for. And that's why there's so much suffering on this planet, because people don't have faith. Majority don't. There's such a small percentage that actually follow faith, really truly follow faith and the unknown and trusting in the unknown. It's taken me a long time, man. I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys that I'm perfect at it, because it's taken me a long time to get to this point that I'm at even. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Ego plays a big part in it, and the ego has been programmed and conditioned to survive. So, God is now coming in, and and all these light codes and everything else to reprogram us. And more and more people are stepping into the truth of who they are and empowerment, and they're moving down these paths where they trust so deeply, and they won't allow someone to tell them, and then for them to change what they actually believe is right for them. But so many people, man, their mother could tell them to do this or do that, their father, their brother, their sister, their partner, and then they do it. And I can tell you I used to be that way. But am I that way any longer? Hell no. You cannot tell me otherwise. I know what's right for me. I know what I need to do when I'm guided and led. And no matter what someone says to me, I will take it into consideration. But first and foremost, it's me. It's me and God, me and faith, me and the unknown, me and me. Yeah, yeah, I agree with you, man. Um, yeah, man, that's why I said, man, let me tell you what, man, this live stream went way longer than I thought it would, but somebody needed to hear this message that we've brought through today, that God used me. Please tap the like button, everybody. If you feel called to send in a super chat, I've been on here for an hour and almost 2 hours. If you guys got something out of this message, man, you feel called to send a super chat to support the channel and support what we do here, I'll be greatly appreciated. If not, just tap the like button and subscribe, man. I still love you. I still have immense gratitude and for you having the courage to be here at this time. And yeah, man, thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. And you know, I love teaching, man. And I have a lot to say, and I just want to see the world that we live in a better place for us all, and for us all to unite, come together, and love each other unconditionally, from a place of unconditional love, man. No judgment, just loving each other, and that's it. Simple. But man, we first have to trust, like really deeply trust. Trusting the process, trusting what's unfolding, all of it. That's why nobody, and I mean nobody, really has the answers as to what's next. Yeah, people speculate. Yeah, they have, some idea, some information, but no. So I love y'all, man, from the bottom of my heart. And I thank each and every one of you, man, for subscribing, for tapping the like button. If you haven't already, follow us on all social media platforms at Daren and Luna. Sign up for a free newsletter at DarenandLuna.com. I love you all, man, from the bottom of my heart, and I really mean that. And there's a lot of things that are coming on this channel that I'm being guided to bring forward, like the drone that we're going to use to bring even crazier content. So stay tuned, man. Stay tuned. We have a lot to come. And yeah, man, it's going to be fun and exciting and amazing when you tap into God, when you let God lead you, man. Miracles happen, miracles unfold, man. I promise you that. It's way, way better than trusting some man in the white coat. I'd much rather trust God or myself, that I know what I'm doing is leading me and guiding me to a higher version of myself, a healthier version of myself, a more abundant version of myself. So that's all I got for today, guys. 2 hours, man. We did it. We made it. That's a beautiful thing. We'll run the clock out, let it go to 2 hours. I'll play you guys. I'll finish off by playing you guys. I'll shut my mouth and play some. We'll run it in over 2 minutes, over 2 hours, and I'll head out on my way. Listen to how that wavers back and forth. Woo. I feel that in my soul. It keeps going and going and going. Then you need to bring it back up. All right, y'all. Well, that's it for today. Thank you again for sticking around, for being here, for joining this live stream. Please share this live stream out. Please share the channel out. Please donate if you feel called to donate. We have many different forms of donation ways you can donate on our website, or you can super chat on here on YouTube. It would be greatly appreciated to support us on our mission and purpose here. And if not, tap the like button, subscribe to the channel, man. Share it out. That is a form of energy exchange as well. I love you all from the bottom of my heart, man. Take care of yourselves and each other. And I'll see you on the next live, on the next video, or somewhere around the world. Until then, let's go.